Howdy y'all, Wyrm here. So Endwalker's fast approaching on its way, and with it comes a whole new set of raid content for us to do. It may not actually seem like it, but the month before an actual expansion launches is prime time for a lot of people to actually start recruiting people for new Savage raiding, or for people to actually start shopping around for a group to join. So in this video, I actually want to go through some of my personal points on how to actually find a raid group, how to recruit people. I'll try not to beat around the bush as much as I can. I'll try and keep it concise to the point points. First off, decide what main job you're going to be playing in Endwalker. Seems like a given, I know, but there's a couple of reasons why this is important. Now, most raid groups will be looking for somebody who can play their job as solidly as possible. They're looking for somebody with high performance, regardless of how serious the group is going to be. If you're good with a secondary job as well, that's an extreme asset, but most groups are just going to be looking for you to play one job. Now, the reason this is most important is any group you try to join, more than likely they're going to trial you in a extreme mode or a savage mode just to see how well you play. Alright, I know I'm sounding like Captain Obvious, but just hear me out this once. As someone who's led a lot of raid groups in Final Fantasy XIV, I've come across a lot of people attempting to join my group who are actually just switching jobs either the day before or the week before, and then they're just trying to actually fill that role in my group. I trial these sort of people just out of sheer curiosity, to be honest, and it usually turns into a complete disaster. They end up tripping over their own feet, they don't know what they're doing. It's probably somebody playing a Dragoon and they used to be main White Mage or something, so their instincts are totally different, and a person like that would probably flip themselves off the arena and end any chance of them actually getting recruited by that group. Now, in terms of finding a group now before Endwalker, and just say you plan to main Reaper or Sage for example, that group will likely trial you on that role itself. So if you're going to play a Sage, they'll trial you on a different healer, or if you're going to play a Reaper, they'll trial you on a melee DPS, just to see how you perform in that role. But if you don't have any of those roles to actually try with a group, just talk to the group first and see if they're happy to trial you. If not, if that doesn't work for you, you may end up having to wait until Endwalker until you can actually get recruited for a group. And honestly, that's okay as well. Some people just prefer to have all their eggs in the basket before the expansion launches. I fit into that category. Alright, so you settle on your main job. What comes next? Decide what type of raid group you wish to join. Now, raid groups, or statics as they're usually known in FF14, come in a number of different categories depending on the people that are actually in them. You have your casual groups that raid a couple of hours a night, a couple of days a week. A mid-core group, for example, will be a bit more serious. They raid 3 to 4 days a week for maybe 3 or 4 plus hours a night. Then you have your hardcore groups who will raid daily for multiple hours a night in order to try and get content down ASAP. To decide what kind of group you actually want to join, I want you to consider the following questions which are going to appear on screen. How many days a week do I want to raid? How many hours per day? What time can I start raids during the day, and when do I have to finish? Do I want to clear the raid content ASAP or take my time? What kind of people am I looking to play with? Can I take constructive criticism? If you answer all of those questions, you'll come up with a great idea of what kind of raid group is right for you. Now, groups that are already established and are just recruiting 1 or 2 people, for example, will already likely have set days and hours which they want to raid, so you'll have to look at that in terms of, will that actually fit your schedule? Say for example you leave work at 5 PM, you end up getting home at 6 PM. Do you want to jump into raid right then and there, or do you want to take some time to relax, switch off, or just switch over, and then you can jump into raid content? I'm the latter, to be honest. I want to get home, relax for a while, then jump into raid. And an important one is, how long can you raid before you have to log out and go to bed? Now, how quickly you want to clear raid content is going to be a deciding factor on what type of raid group you're going to end up joining. But more than likely, the days and hours that this group raids will be the deciding factor more than anything else, because everybody's schedule is a little different. The people in raid groups differ from one to the other. Everybody's different, everybody has their own quirks and personalities, and these are the things you're going to encounter once you jump into a group with 7 other people. I'll put myself as an example. I am an easygoing, fun-loving guy, but as soon as I get into a raid, my attitude just changes entirely, and I'm entirely focused on actually clearing the content, and I'm in full serious mode for that entire time. Lastly, can you take constructive criticism? Now, this in my opinion is the most important factor. Raids are a long haul deal. You're going to be doing it for quite a while more than likely. The fact is, sometimes you're going to mess up, or maybe your current playstyle actually doesn't work for the raid you're in at that time. More than likely at that point, your group is going to offer criticism and recommendations on how you can improve. In my experience, you'll either get people who will happily accept that criticism, be neutral towards it and take it on the chin, or get defensive about it. You need to determine which one of these you are. If you join a mid-core or above group, more than likely you're going to encounter this at some point. And frankly, how you take criticism is actually going to determine your raid experience going forward. Okay, so you figured out what kind of raid group you want to join, but where do you find one? The most popular is using dedicated discords that are used for FF14 raiding. Regardless of the region you're playing on, there's multiple discords set up for people to actually find raid groups, or for raid groups to advertise that they're recruiting. Another good way, and one I personally recommend, is via the FF14 recruitment subreddit. You can post your group recruitment message there and people will be able to respond to you if you're what they're looking for. It can also be a place for individuals to actually advertise themselves in order to find a raid group. Lastly, you can look in the game itself. Many groups actually advertise in the party finder when they're recruiting. If you boot up your game right now, I'll almost guarantee you'll see at least one. Alright, so you find a raid group you like, you contact them, they interview you, and you're either invited to join or you're invited for a trial. And you're all done pretty much. Wrong. This is the most important part. By joining a raid group in Final Fantasy XIV, you're making a social commitment to the other 7 people in your group. You're committing yourself to raiding with them, showing up on time for raids, and also to bring your best attitude. Say for example you join a mid-core group, you're raiding 3 days a week for 3 to 4 hours a night. You start off pretty fine, you're attending all your raids, you're showing up on time and leaving on time as well. Then you start skipping days or showing up late, or even leaving early for that matter. This will actually put your raid group in a tight spot, as they need to actually replace you for that night. And if it keeps happening that way, they could end up just replacing you easily for somebody a little more consistent. If you intend to be absent, which is honestly perfectly fine, just be sure to let your group know that you're not going to be there, or that you're going to be showing up late for example. But if you either can't or won't meet their raid days or hours, it's probably best to actually just find a different group, one that you can actually meet the times at. Honestly, life happens, that's a given. Just be sure to be as polite as you can and just let them know with as much advance notice as you can whether or not you can or can't raid. Alright, here's another one. Say your group raids 3 days a week from 7 o'clock at night until 10 o'clock at night. You're 2 hours into the raid and things are not going well at all, your group is constantly wiping. Then you speak up and say, "I'm done," and you log out. That, I can tell you from experience, has left your team jaw dropped. I've recruited people like this in the past, and actually just in the last raid tier we actually had somebody just like this. And let me tell you, it really upsets the rest of the raid group when somebody does that out of the blue. Now, I know I'm talking to you like I'm your parent. I'm not. And neither are the people in your raid group. You can do whatever the heck you want. But let me just reiterate again. You're making a personal commitment to these other 7 people. If you can't commit, then either that group or groups in general may just not be for you. Honestly, that's okay as well. We have Party Finder and people pug people on a nightly basis for raids. So pugging is actually something that's very viable as well if you have a very hectic schedule, for example. Anywho, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching everyone. Endwalker's nearly here, so many people, myself included, have already decided what they're going to be doing and how they're going to be doing it in Endwalker. You're going to see more and more activity on the servers as the expansion actually approaches. People are going to start to be coming back within the last month. And especially you're going to see recruitment ramping up all the way until Endwalker launches, and then you're going to see an absolute ton of recruitment going on in the first 4 weeks of the expansion. Thanks all, and now, as always, have a good one.